Will it work? We're
I
not
think
reading.
it will.
Does it like it? Will it work? Does
I
it
think
like
it'll work
it? Will it? Well, there it goes.
It'll
There it
be
goes.
fine.
Oh, baby, baby.
It'll be okay.
Baby, baby, don't get hooked on
And we're
me.
streaming. Now, did you click
Isn't that a blessing?
the... Okay, I see it says on.
So it says, okay, so we're streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Say something. It's right there. There's the...
yeah, so it takes a couple minutes for people to show up.
Why do you do that? Why do you do
Because you may have clicked the wrong thing.
I do kind of like, I can kind of stretch it in a weird way. There.
Yeah.
So we just have to wait for people to get savvy.
Mm-hmm.
Come on in, everybody.
There's Jackie's the first one in the chat.
Jackie.
Hey there, Jack.
Oh, Jack Gray.
Jack Gray, yes. Hey, guys.
There's Jack Gray and Jack Black. And Jack White.
Oh.
All the different Jack. He's got his grays. See the color?
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha.
Jack. No, he's Jack somewhere in the middle between Jack White and Jack Black.
It's a gray area.
That's right. Sorry.
Hey there. I see a hello. I can't make out the name. I'm a little far away from the screen.
William Ruscio, Michael Craig, Toby Wilson.
Yo. Cool.
Yo.
There's Miss Nora. Hello, Nora.
And Travis Brown, kind of brown.
And Travis Brown. Hey, guys. Hopefully you're doing good. We've got our night owls here hanging with us.
David Waldman is quoting Groot.
Movie and Toy Collector 13 is
Woohoo!
here. A fellow YouTuber who makes some great videos about collecting.
Yes, he does.
Movies and toys. So just like the name says.
Lois in the his.
Hello,
hey,
Miss
Lois. Hello.
A comic book expert there.
Yes.
We've got Tom and Lois
her
watching.
and her husband, very, very, they're comic book veterans.
So yeah, I'm sure they can give us lots of comic book info too.
Oh, they have already. I mean,
yeah, I love hearing their stories.
They'll learn nothing new tonight from us. But.
Yeah, we're noobs compared to them.
So Randall's here. All right.
All right. Should we introduce ourselves?
Randall Lingenfelter. Yeah, we should. Hey, what's buzzing, cousins? I'm Grimm Gorri.
I'm Janet Decay.
And you're watching
the Mummy and the Monkeys Hairy Scary Hangover,
baby. Episode 50.
The big 50.
We're the big 50 on the show.
Our 50th episode here on doing the talk thing on YouTube.
That is cray-cray. Wow, we're doing, so we're chugging along with these episodes. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're up to 118 episodes on the Hairy Scary Hangout.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like just a little bit behind.
So we're B-Movie hosts on Facebook. We play cheesy B-movies on there. And then afterwards, we jump on over to our YouTube channel and we talk about various topics and just hang out with you guys. And it's a little more laid back. But the topic for tonight is horror comic books, scary comic books. And we could talk a little bit about the history of them and then show off, do like a show and tell of comic books that we have in our collection.
Yes.
Some that we have read, some that we still need to read.
And we'll definitely very, very, very soon. I have plans for some of these books, as well as a bunch of other ones. Because when I was going through my collection here, man, can we set that over there?
Yeah, let's scoot that over. And then we have,
oh my God, I need to read these comics.
We have a live unboxing that we're going to be doing on YouTube.
So should we do that first?
Let's check some of the comments.
All right.
Let's see who else creeped in here.
Dino's here.
Late Horror Show. Dino.
So we got a question about unboxing Amazon stuff. We haven't done that. We haven't gotten the returns boxes.
We have not done that yet, but there are some YouTubers that will buy Amazon returns and they unbox them on YouTube.
Oh, Tony got booted from Facebook for commenting on the movie. Maybe, maybe the dick joke wasn't a good idea.
Oh, maybe it was too many Richard jokes.
But it was a name. You know?
I know it's a name, but the algorithm and people, I don't know. Yeah, I guess
it was my fault. My bad.
Yeah, sorry, Tony.
I'm surprised we didn't get kicked out.
I guess, well, it is a name. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, it was totally double.
So I was saying Richard instead of the other.
Well, that takes but then there's no joke there.
You could probably still make jokes.
Well, you probably could.
Probably. Yeah. Okay, so huge shout out to, and we're going to open this. So the Bargain Barons on YouTube, they are from Saskatchewan, Canada, and they put up really awesome, like, garage sale videos, estate sales, antique malls when they go visit the antique stores, and they they look for Victorian antiques, the morning jewelry, like gothic, creepy, cool stuff, and really old stuff.
Yeah, so we started reselling stuff on eBay and other platforms several years ago, and they're one of the ones that we discovered on YouTube as far as watching their videos. They got hooked right away.
Yeah, we've been watching their videos for a couple years, and their channel has really grown. And we want to send them a package too of treats, maybe exclusive to Cleveland.
Yeah, something sort of.
So maybe you guys can help us out in the comments. What snacks are like Cleveland, Ohio exclusive that we could send to our friends, the Bargain Barons?
Yeah, up in Canada.
Up in Canada.
They sent us this box. All we did was pre-open it. We have
I only
sitting
cut
on our
the
table
tape
for almost a week now.
Yeah.
And we're like dying to get into this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
There's some comments that you might have to check and click show or
we were doing the dick joke stuff.
those you can show.
Yeah, because it's just the name.
It's just a name, guys. Yeah. It's just a name, YouTube. It's short for Richard.
Yeah, calm down.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Everybody, calm down.
All right, so here we go.
Ooh.
We're going to open this from the Bargain Barons.
Oh, wow. What did they send us?
Ooh. Okay, so it's wrapped in tissue paper.
Oh, of course. Very classy. I like that.
Oh, they signed
it. That's sweet.
There's a signed photo of them.
Look at that.
Rob and Karen, the Bargain Barons. And then there's their info there. Their YouTube, their Facebook, Instagram, and Teespring.
Yes, we're going to hang that on our wall of...
that should be here in the studio.
In our studio, our wall of fame over
That
there.
is so cool.
Very, very... Thank you, too.
Thank you. Oh, and some cards.
Yep. Oh, we got cards.
Some of their business
There's that
cards
logo that we see all the
their
time.
logo.
That's awesome on their show.
Yeah.
And what's fun about them, too, with their show, they go out and they hunt for... They call it the Bargain Bears because not only do they look for stuff to resell, but they look for stuff that they could use as well.
Yes.
They have a beautiful Victorian style home.
They do.
Furnished that way. They have a lot. They buy things, and they'll show you at the end what they spent and what they saved on with the value of it.
Yeah, because they'll buy stuff that they keep, and then they buy stuff that they sell. So
but the value's still there.
They show you what they made or what they saved based on what they found.
Yeah, that's always fun to see. So now we get these exclusive Canadian treats.
So these are treats from Canada.
Yeah, these look interesting.
Old Dutch potato chips, and they're ketchup flavored.
Ooh, I love ketchup.
Ketchup flavored chips. Wow, that looks good.
Mine, no.
I know. I want to eat all of these snacks.
We got to try something tonight.
Cheesies,
Hawkins
cheesies. Ooh,
wow,
cheesies.
Yeah, this is stuff I always... Let me see those cheesies real quick.
Our movies that we play are really cheesy.
We can call them the movies that we play.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Kit Kat.
Hawkins cheesies. You got
Ooh, these aren't just regular Kit Kats.
Well, those are cheesy Kit Kat.
Sustainably sourced cocoa Kit Kat.
Bourbon Kit Kat.
Sustainably sourced cocoa. So that's more eco-friendly.
Ah.
That's cool. We don't have those Kit Kats here. Coffee Crisp.
Ooh, coffee.
Sustainably sourced cocoa. Nestle Coffee Crisp. So it's like a coffee chocolate bar.
Mm.
Ooh,
this is going to be nice.
These are going to be fun to try.
We're going to have these. Oh, you're going to watch the Haunted Barn tomorrow and snack.
Oh, Henry.
Now, I haven't had a whole Henry since I was a kid.
They don't make O. Henrys here anymore.
They don't. That's not a stateside thing anymore.
Wow.
What flavor? What's in the?
I haven't had an O. Henry candy bar in a long time.
Wow. The packaging is pretty neat.
That is cool.
Reese's Peanut Butter O. Henry. It's got the French here, too.
Avec.
With, go on, you took French. What's it say there?
I took French a long time ago. Avec.
With.
Beer.
That's really bad.
I don't know. I'm butchering that.
Where's your cleaver? You're butchering the heck out of that French.
Je regrette.
The French look down their nose at you. Here.
Je suis Americaine. Je regrette.
There you go.
I said, I'm sorry. I'm American.
Crispy Crunch. Crispy Crunch.
Cadbury Crispy Crunch.
Ooh, Cadbury.
Cadbury. When we visited a family in Germany, they had a lot of yummy Cadbury candies.
Oh boy, so much good stuff.
Yeah, a long time ago.
I asked you something really cool.
Nestle Aero.
Yeah,
these are really good. They had these in Germany. They have like little air bubbles in them. We need to try some of these.
Cannot wait.
Smarties.
I love Smarties. See, I saw that in there. Now, what's so different about these Smarties?
But are these different?
They're Canadian flavored. I don't know.
No artificial colors.
Ah.
I wonder if are they like a chewier candy? Or they are? Smarties are like hard candies,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but actually, Smarties are more dry. They look like they might be coated with like a candy shell.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to see what's different
Yeah, the
about those
Smarties
Smarties.
that we get are like in a tube, like in a cellophane wrapper,
Yeah.
like in a column, but they're dry. They're kind of powdery.
Macintosh's creamy toffee.
Ooh, now that sounds yummy.
Creamy toffee.
I mean, it all sounds so good.
Yeah, I've never had that before.
Well,
oh, there's one. There's one more thing.
Hand over the toffee, Toots.
Caramel. Caramel.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I don't know what that is. I'm guessing a milk chocolate. Caramel. Have you guys had any of these snacks before?
My dentist is gonna hate me.
Have you guys ever visited Canada and got to try all these different snacks?
No, I've never been to Canada. I cannot wait.
I've never been. We need to visit one day. Thank you so much, Bargain Barons. Wow. Okay, let's try the Smarties.
I think we got a lot of people in Facebook jail. I'm sorry.
Did we really?
It looks like it.
Did we get you guys a Facebook jail?
We apologize.
I'm so sorry.
We'll just go back to shrew jokes. Oh, do you open one? Let me see. Let me have one.
Here's some.
Yeah, these are different. These Smarties have a candy coating, and they have
These are chocolate.
Well, they're not.
It's like eating an M&M.
Yeah. So same name, different product.
Yeah. Those are really good.
Yeah, sixlets.
They have a hard candy shell.
Yeah.
And like a soft chocolate.
It's like an M&M.
Like an M&M, yeah.
Got a different taste to it, but...
Oh, these are so good.
See, I thought they're going to be a hard shelled, like sweet tart,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, interesting.
I think I opened them the wrong way.
That's all right. Well, thank you, Robin, Karen. That was very, very, very sweet.
Thank you, Bargain Barons. That's awesome.
And
yeah.
We'll be looking for something from us very soon.
Yeah, we need to find some cool Cleveland things to send them.
We will. We will definitely do that.
Can I have one, says Albert?
Yeah, here. Open wide, we'll throw it across the... We're not that far from
We'll fax it to you.
He's just in Lakewood, so it's just right up.
What are the comments, Grim? There's a lot of people chatting it up.
Tim Hortons in Canada, they say chow down on donuts and coffee. Oh, boy.
Ooh, donuts and coffee.
I cannot wait for the morning now for that kind of stuff. Man, okay,
Should we try the cheesies?
If you want to, why not? Let's snack and talk about comics.
Made with real cheddar cheese.
I'll try one of them.
Vrai fromage cheddar.
Don't.
My pronunciation's horrible.
Maybe if you eat more of that, you'll have a better French thing going on there. How are they? Are they cheesy like our movies?
They remind me of Dandy a little bit.
Yeah.
They taste like Dandy.
Yeah, they taste like Dandy's cheese twister.
Yeah, they're like a crunchier, cheesy snack. Yeah,
so
like a Cheeto, but crunchier.
Buttery and cheesy. Yeah.
And the cheese is like a little bit more
I need a
cheesy.
big bag of those.
These are good.
These are good. Oh my God, thank you. Hit the spot right now. Okay, so tonight's subject on the Hairy Scary Hangover is
comic books.
Yeah, horror-based comic books.
I have to let a cat in. Someone's at the door, so get you talk.
I will. I'll get so. Tonight's subject is a very one near and dear to my heart. Is someone out there? Okay.
Louie wants to visit.
Horror-themed comic books. Well, where do we start? Well, you got to kind of start at the beginning, right? And as far as I'm concerned, the beginning was, and I don't have them. I do have some reprints. I don't have the actual ones, but EC Comics.
Yes.
Back in the 1950s.
50s, yes.
Came out to the dismay of a lot of parents. They were very graphic and very gory comic books, horror-related comic books, and a lot of you are familiar with them, even though you probably don't know that what they're based in is EC Comics. If you're familiar with Tales from the Crypt, then you know EC Comics.
The Crypt Keeper was originally from those 1950s comic books, and there were two other characters like him that
the
were...
Old Witch.
They were kind of like the horror hosts of the comic book world.
Before there were horror hosts.
Before there were horror hosts. They would host these stories that were in these comics, and these stories featured like zombies and decapitation.
And black cats.
And blood and gore and all this really creepy stuff and monsters. All these really wild stories.
What's Louis up to?
There were 91 issues. There was The Haunt of Fear, The Vault of Horror, The Crypt of Terror, which was later renamed to Tales from the Crypt.
Ah.
And the 3 characters that would host these comics were the Old Witch, the Vault Keeper, and of course the Crypt Keeper.
Yes. Now those comic books were very, very, like Janet was saying, very graphic and gory, and they actually started the comics authority. It was
the comics code.
Code, yes, almost like the code that they had for Hollywood for movies that had to have certain sort of
the Hays Code.
Yeah, sort of. Oh, he's gonna tear that box up. They had
Louis.
Because they were afraid that they would attribute.
Gotcha.
We're good there?
Yeah, we're good. Keep talking. You're
they
good.
would contribute, I should say, to the delinquency of minors and to violence amongst people in general because of the graphic nature of the comics and some movies back in the day. The Comics Code Authority was a big thing, and that's where it started because they had to. They felt like the comics need to be regulated because of their content. And it's still, now it's been let up quite a bit.
Well, can you imagine being a kid in the 50s?
Oh, wow.
You go and pick up your comic book at the local drugstore or whatever.
Right next to the Archies or whatever was out there.
Yeah, and you would have, you know, your regular 50s comics.
Mighty Mouse comics and Popeye comics. Right
exactly.
there, yeah.
And then next to that were these EC comics.
With beheadings and...
With all these weird stories of, like, people killing each other and blood and gore and...
Yeah.
Vampires and witches and werewolves and
but there they were on the same newsstand as the Harvey comics and Casper the Friendly Ghost.
So as a kid it might have really freaked you out. As a parent it might have freaked you out. Or as a kid you would have been like, whoa, that's cool, if you're weird like us and like scary stuff.
And I wish I had an example to show you, but again, if you're familiar with Tales from the Crypt HBO TV show, those are based on a lot of the actual stories from back then, especially that Christmas one where the lunatic escapes and pretty much comes to the family's house, starts killing people. That's an actual story, and I think that they took a lot of stories from the actual EC comics. But
yeah, and a lot of those books were reprinted many times.
Oh yeah, yeah. And somewhere around here I have some of those EC reprints, but I don't have the originals. If I did, man, those would be nice. But around the same time in the 50s, Marvel, before it was Marvel, it was called Atlas Comics, I believe, and Timely Comics. They were putting out, before they were Marvel, Stan Lee was writing a bunch of monster comics. And one of them was, who you might know from Guardians of the Galaxy, was Groot. He was actually a 50s monster that appeared in Monster of the Month comics.
Nice.
And Groot was one of them. Totally different from what they did with them in Guardians. They kind of revamped them for some comics later in the 2000s, and then he came out as a Guardian, the movie.
Yeah.
The little sort of like
more friendly.
Yeah. Well,
it's still a monster creature.
People too. Yeah. But anyway, this is a collected work of a lot of the Marvel monster comics that were out back then, and you can see it. You can't see it on the camera.
It's like a whole collage on the back of all the different books that are in there.
But this thing must weigh.
Vanna, why don't you check the comments and then we could show more books or talk about more books. So there's that. Does that show up on there?
If you see how you're turning into life, you turn it. That ring light's real harsh.
Yeah.
You turn your head and look.
Oh yeah, it doesn't even come up really.
Yeah, but anyway, they put out so many.
Yeah,
comics.
There's a lot on there.
And yeah, well, those were drawn by Jack Kirby, of course. Did all that kind of stuff. I mean, my gosh, and they reprinted a lot of those later on in some of the comics I'll show tonight. We're up by now. Okay, so we're getting to that. So. What do I have here? I was going to show.
EC comics were awesome, says Jeff.
They were. Now,
they're hard. The originals are very collectible now. If you could find those.
Don't mind this. Can you? Will that fit on your table anywhere? Or no?
I can hold it.
It's very heavy.
It's okay.
All right. So I wouldn't be. I would lose my Wilfred Brimley autograph. That's where that went.
Oh, that's where that went. I knew it was around here somewhere.
By my diabetes medication.
There you go.
So I wouldn't be a true comic book nerd. I'd lose my comic book nerd membership card if I didn't have a short box or a long box of comics. Well, the short box actually fits better on tonight's show. So I filled this with a bunch of comics that I had from my collection, our collection, to share with you all tonight. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so you saw the Marvel stuff.
Okay.
They did the, and then later. Oh, this is later. I'm going to get. To
Oh,
that in a
that's for
second.
later. Okay.
Yeah. So DC also did DC Comics, which is Marvel Comics' rival back in the day. They also came out with a bunch of stuff. Don't have a ton of DC stuff, but they did like House of Mystery, The Unexpected. Ooh, look at that! There's Satan coming out of the.
I was
The
trying
Pits
to
of
find
Hell.
my comic books and I could
Another
not. Because I have a bunch
unexpected
of Elvira comic books. They made Elvira's House of Mystery.
We're getting to that.
Oh, okay. He might have some.
Yeah, I do. We have Phantom Stranger. Dead Man was another great one if you ever read those. The Demon was a Jack Kirby creation. That was another fun one back then. Yeah, Kirby was very prolific up until, from the beginning when he started comics until he died. And the guy was a prolific comic book illustrator and creator, writer. He did a lot of his own stuff. This is one he also, I believe you wrote this one too.
Awesome.
But there's the Demon, so that's supernatural related. And then you got into some weird stuff with comics and DC Comics with one of my favorites, Swamp Thing. I know there's a new TV show out, a newer version of Swamp Thing, but these are my favorite. The 70s Bernie Wrightson comics, who drew them. Amazing, amazing stuff. And this is stuff that you should definitely check out
And I've
if
watched-
you've never read Swamp
We
Thing.
watched the show a little bit. What we saw of it, we thought it was interesting.
It was nothing like the comics. And there's your Elvira's House of Mystery.
There's Elvira. Yeah, we've got a bunch of these around somewhere.
I know I've got some from. We each have boxes of comics, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
David, some have backboards, some don't. I need to go through my collection pretty soon and board them up. I did bag them, but some of them I've got tons boarded and bagged. Don't worry.
Board it and bag it.
Yeah, there's only so much a monkey can do. Either you give me a night off with no sound effects, I can get to my comic collection, which I plan on getting to this week. Going back to it.
This one's from 1986.
And then the monsters that they had crossed over and teamed up with some of their mainstream superheroes, like here's Swamp Thing, Brave and the Bold, Swamp Thing, and Batman. So they hooked up a few times.
Superheroes and
They
monsters.
didn't hook up like that, but they got together and fought some crime. Yeah, Swamp Thing, that is some of the best artwork. And then Ernesto Redondo did some artwork from it. And then Marvel, what they did later in the 70s, they started, they had all these like monster stories, right? And instead of just kind of, not doing anything with it, they reprinted a lot of them in titles like Monsters on the Prowl, Where Monsters Dwell, one of my favorites. These titles are just great. This is just a smidgen of what I have. Crypt of Shadows. All these are all reprints of their 50s and 60s horror stuff that they put out prolifically. Worlds Unknown, issue 1. Look at that. Isn't that cool? The creature in the capsule type of thing.
Very
weird
cool
stuff. I love the covers. Marvel had the best covers from the time. And I'm definitely more of a Marvel guy than I was a DC guy. So here's where Marvel gets cranked with their stuff, okay? Marvel really blew it. And I was hoping that we'd be seeing a lot of Marvel monster stuff in theaters, since they went through the superhero stuff, and there's still a ton of superhero stuff
there is
to do. I'm chatting away here. But I thought monsters might be the next logical step. There was a Morbius, the vampire movie.
I was really
Marvel,
wanting to see the Morbius movie because I'm a Morbius fan.
with Jared Leto is Morbius, but in the 70s, Marvel did titles like
Dracula.
the Tomb of Dracula.
Tomb of Dracula. There's that's issue 1.
The Frankenstein. That's issue 1, Tomb of Dracula?
It says issue 1.
No.
Oh, number 1.
It's
okay, I read it wrong.
Now.
This is issue 47.
I wish I had issue 1. I don't.
I saw the one there and thought, oh, is that the first issue?
Yeah, this is.
I got confused.
But they did a slew of. They had the Frankenstein monster, and there he is like fighting Dracula there, and of course one that you would love, the living mummy.
The living mummy.
Not the yummy mummy, but the living mummy.
Yes. Maybe he's a cousin of mine
That
or
was
something.
through Supernatural Thrillers. That was the name of that
Nice.
title, and he was. And then I do have some issues somewhere on, but this is a newer, revamped Werewolf by Night. This was a great. This is really, really graphic. But the original 70s ones are really great. Mike Ploog drew them, and then this is some more stuff that the Marvel did. They got really into like the sort of superhero horror stuff, like Brother Voodoo. Yeah.
Yeah, just all different monsters, different types, like the voodoo zombies, voodoo stuff, werewolves. I mean, anything. There was a comic book version of it.
Yeah. Ghost Rider was a supernatural horror-based sort of
Yeah,
you know,
he's cool.
hero.
He's got the skull and everything.
There's your boy right there, Morbius, the living vampire in
There he
Adventure into
is.
Fear. There he is right there, looking all Morbius-y. The little pig-nosed, bat-nosed vampire
He's got
guy.
that little stout nose.
And
Yeah.
I thought Marvel got a little dark in a way with some of the titles. I mean, not to be a Puritan or anything, but they had titles like Son of Satan and Satana. Ooh.
Ooh.
Isn't that crazy what they, you know.
A little daring there.
Yeah, this is
With
before
the Satan stuff.
But I think this is before Ozzy got slammed for all that the devil stuff with music. So all, you know, it was all, you know,
The Devil's Daughter.
no holds barred. And then one of my favorites, Marvel Monsters, is the Man-Thing, of course.
And then
Gotta
the
have Man-Thing.
giant-sized man thing.
Would you like to hold my giant-sized Man-Thing, Janet?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah,
I
thought you'd
love
never
holding
hold
your
it.
giant-sized man thing.
Well, thank you very much.
It looks very nice on the camera.
It does. Look at that man thing. Ain't nothing like a giant-sized man thing. I think that joke was actually something that they thought was funny even back then. It might have even been done on purpose.
I'm picturing like these teenage boys coming up with that name, like
that
giggling
worked at Marvel, probably.
amongst each other, like, yeah, let's call it that Man Thing.
Yeah, Ghost Rider was definitely was a weird hero, really cool. It was spawned by the devil. It basically is a satanic power type of thing. The satanic powers. And then here's another one of my favorites that's really not that
Man-Wolf.
lesser known. Now he's the son of J. Jonah Jameson, who is Peter Parker's boss.
Wow,
Spider-Man's boss.
really?
He's an astronaut. He went to the moon. Something happened where he got like a moonstone lodged in his neck, and he turned to a wolf.
And now he's a
Man-Wolf.
werewolf.
The Man-Wolf.
A
That's a great cover.
wolf.
And it even crossed over into Marvel Comics when this is not Spider-Man fighting a mummy. That's actually the Man-Wolf wrapped up, and then he gets unbandaged. But one of my favorite comics
So he's a mummy cosplayer.
drawn by one of my favorite artists, John Byrne, did this issue. And I wonder who lettered. I wonder if Tom lettered this one. I don't know. Did he ever do Spider-Man? Who lettered this?
Let's see.
No, he didn't.
No.
No, who knows?
Let's check out. There's a ton of comments.
Come on, let's read some
Let's
comments.
take a break and do that, and then get back to.
I've
all that.
got so much more to go through.
Oh, here's these.
Okay.
If you want to put
leave
those
leave
back.
that there for the second.
Or can you set them next to?
Yeah.
Down
I
there?
just need some.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's one more.
That's cool. All right, what do we got to comments wise? Ghost Rider teaming up with the Champions. Yeah. I have those books too. John Byrne, man, loved his Alpha Flight. Yeah, Byrne was really one of my big influences as a comic book, learning how to draw as a kid. Him, George Perez, but John Byrne was like the dude for me.
Cool.
Oh,
Oh, Connie
Connie Cleary
Cleary,
with
a
the
super
super chat.
chat.
Thank you, Con.
$4.99. Thank you so much, Connie. If you guys are liking the video and you like talking about comics and all that stuff, hit the like button. We do appreciate it. We do have the super chat on there. It's kind of like tipping your DJ or bartender.
That's right.
And we also have a Teespring store. We have eBay stores, and all the links are on the MummyAndMonkey.com.
Yep.
And if you do shop on any of our online stores, it does help support the channel so we can continue putting out movies, putting out videos.
Buying, oodles and noodles and ramen and being able to eat. And we have a discount on our Teespring account, correct?
Oh, that's right. So we have a discount code for Teespring, and the coupon code is SPRING, all in caps. And you get 15% off your order. So whether it be a Stasha shirt or a Mummy and Monkey shirt or a beach towel or a pillow, no
Yes.
matter what it is on our Teespring store, you can get 15% off of your order.
Hello, Tom McCann. He's just sending a hello to
Hi,
us.
Tom.
And I'll finish up sort of my Marvel thing with Uncanny X-Men. Not a horror comic, obviously, but their crossover with the Wendigo, which is a Canadian sort of thing, because that's what this story took place in. I think it might have more of a Canadian legend, Indian legend about if you're a cannibal, you turn into this thing called a Wendigo. So that was pretty neat. I used to love this comic, and read it all the time as a kid. And then later on, relatively recently, I should say.
That looks like 90s or
It
maybe
is,
newer.
no, 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, Monsters Unleashed. This is where Marvel did a bunch of their monsters. You want to show it
Yes.
a little closer? Thank you. Where they this even has Devil Dinosaur, but it was all their big kind of giant monsters from the 50s and 60s in a book. And there's a series on that. that I didn't read yet, but I will get to it one of these days. Now, going back to, rewinding a little bit here, going back to Swamp Thing, Who You Know,
Yes.
and Man Thing. But did you know that before the Swamp Thing and the Man Thing, there was another swamp creature,
What was he called?
the Heap.
The Heap.
There's the Heap.
The Heap.
He was a giant, and he looked a little bit like the Man Thing. And there's a whole controversy about who came first. Did Man Thing come first? Are we gonna get banned for saying that?
Albert, wow, thank you so much. A $15 super chat.
Oh,
Can
he's
I
ordering
get a
food.
cheeseburger and a large fry and supersize it?
He must. Yeah, he think. Oh, welcome to MummyAndMonkey diner. Yeah, we can get that. Sure, we can.
Thank you, Albert.
So this is a whole thing. I have yet to read this too, but the Heap was another sort of swamp type creature, and he was basically a heap. There he is lifting a car up, a la Superman. See, there's the back of him.
So he's like another giant swamp monster.
But he appeared in a comic called Airboy, and he almost looks like Swamp Thing there.
Yeah.
And then like Man Thing there. It's kind of weird.
Maybe this guy inspired the other comics.
It definitely did.
This looks like it's much older.
They're 50s.
This is a reprint, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. This is a compilation of the Heap comics. But yeah, some crazy stuff, and that blew my mind. I mean, yeah, did it really? I guess it did, because, look, I'm a nerd. I'm a comic nerd. I love stuff like that.
We couldn't tell, Graham.
I don't like anything. I like cars. I like comics, okay? So
Comics are
but
fun.
I thought if you didn't know, now you know, okay?
Yeah.
So, then we're going to get into some other stuff here that's not DC or Marvel. I actually pulled some stuff that doesn't have to do with those companies. There's a lot of stuff, and this is just a smidge. I mean, there's so much stuff. So they had stuff for kids that was kind of horror-based, I thought, like Hot Stuff, right? Harvey Comics had Little Devil Guy.
Yeah, so there's like a cute devil guy.
Dell had Melvin the Monster. I don't remember this at all, but
Aww.
I'm pretty sure this might have been an animated 60s cartoon, if I'm correct. I forget. But that's one you could look up.
Yeah, maybe.
Melvin. And then there's some generic stuff like Monster Posse. I mean, monster horror stuff is huge.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I think it's still a viable medium. I have some ideas for monster-based comics, especially ones starring us. Hey,
Vampirella.
someone mentioned this earlier. Yeah, Vampirella. You know
Yeah,
about Vampirella.
everyone loves Vampirella.
Come on, because that's just the way it is. We like it here. We like Vampirella.
We do.
And then, hey, speaking of Tom and Todd, this is a horror-based superhero, right? From Image, from Image Comics.
Spawn. And Spawn is still
Still going.
series. They're still going.
Still going strong.
Still going strong.
Lettered by Tom.
How many issues? Like over 200?
300.
300?
Up to 300.
Wow.
They just surpassed the 300 mark. Lettered by Tom Warzakowski.
Awesome.
There you go. That's a Tom thing right there. I didn't grab any Godzilla stuff, but we know our friend Lois did some lettering for that. And they both did stuff for a lot of anime.
Yeah, a lot of manga books.
And here's some
too.
chaos stuff. Everyone knows Evil Ernie, right? And Lady Death.
Lady Death and Evil Ernie. These were really wild comic books, really out there, over the
bloody
top.
and gory and stuff like that.
Super gory, lots of TNA there.
Yeah, so these are other publishers other than Marvel and DC, which, they dominated, but there's other people. Our friend Matthew Brassfield has Sparkle Comics.
Oh, yeah, and he even has horror hosts in his
Yeah, so
comics.
here is like with Dr. Creep. And,
Good choice, Graham.
Yeah, A Ghastly Ghoul and
A
Shocking Macabre Theater.
Yeah, where they're all together going on some wacky adventures.
Yeah. Love
So,
reading that
Sparkle
stuff.
Comics, and he has a comic book shop, I think near Dayton, Ohio.
Yes, and they have comics coming up, brand new horror-based comics coming out constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Devilman, that's an anime.
Go Nagai, yeah, based off of the anime series. I love
Devilman and Devil Lady, or Devil Woman.
Yeah.
I think it's Devil Lady. But really cool artwork, and yeah, it's a horror-themed, kind of like a monster-themed book.
Here's another one from Image, like Spawn. That was a horror, because again, they had a bunch of different titles that were kind of horror-related, but The Pit, have you remember Pit?
That I have not heard of.
It's crazy. Dale Keown is the artist and writer for this book, and my gosh, just the art is just so intense. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Craziness. But this guy he's actually a rock and roll drummer, Dale Keown, but he's also an artist and a writer. But he created and wrote and drew this and inked all these books, and I liked Pit. It's a little, you know, over the top, but that's what's good about it, right? Super bloody, pink blood, green blood everywhere. I love it.
Like 90s neon colors.
A lot of fun, but yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Very
artist,
colorful.
Dale's very interesting human being. Demon Hunter. This is an Atlas comic title, along with Grim Ghost, another Atlas comic book. So horror was really big in the 70s. These are 70s titles right now. Oh,
Michael Craig.
Thank you.
Can I get a shout out to my wife, Beth Craig? She's asleep on the couch beside me and snoring.
Just scare the cat. I gotta shout out to Beth. Say hey, Beth.
One, two, three.
Hey, Beth! Wake up!
Wake up, Beth! Shout out
Awesome.
to you.
Thank you
Beth.
so much, Michael. That's awesome.
Thank you, Michael.
And then
That's funny.
these are Charlton Comics. They put out a ton of comic books, horror stuff. This is one of the many titles. Creepy Things.
Creepy Things. Wow.
Love that kind of stuff.
Creepy Things. That's like a lot of the stuff we have over
Oh
here.
my
A lot
gosh,
of creepy
lots
things.
of creepy things.
There's lots of comments, Grim. Do you want to read some of them?
There are some, yeah.
And then we could show some more titles.
It was kind of sci-fi. You're right. He was an alien. I thought it was just because of the blood. It was kind of gory. But I have to go back and read some of this stuff. It's been a minute.
Vampirella was designed by Tina Robbins.
Okay.
Is that what that says?
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Lois.
Hanna-Barbera made a cartoon, the comic book of Frankenstein Jr. Yeah, that was kind of a robot Frankenstein type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trina Robbins is the creator for Vampirella. Baron Werewolf. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Hanna-Barbera. I just realized Louie wasn't there anymore. Isn't Grim? I've been looking at. Oh, okay. Well, hello. What are you looking at, my Louie? Charlotte Comics originally put out Blue Beetle in The Question. That's true. And then DC bought a lot of those characters. I own them now and do a lot of cool stuff with them. Actually, Blue Beetle's been in a lot of their titles. It was one of the not Justice League, but one of those titles. I'm not a big DC guy. Some of it I'm familiar with. But anyway, this is a great cover.
Look at that artwork.
Who could forget? Classics Illustrated. They did a bunch of they did Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
They did Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But just that cover, man. Look at that artwork. Fantastic, right?
And that's the thing with some of these horror themed comic books, especially like the classic horror. Lots of cool drawings, artwork, illustrations, whatever you want to call it.
That smell.
And those old books have that great old paper smell.
Us nerds, we want like a cologne that smells like this. He smells like old comic books.
And those old EC comic books, we don't have any of the originals. No. We do have some reprints somewhere scattered around the house, or around the crypt.
Yeah, but and I'm sorry, I'm kind of jamming.
The artwork in those, even though it's like gory and weird and scary, it's really cool, very detailed.
Well, there are a lot of contributors to those.
And so many different artists.
Well, Wally Wood was one of the big contributors, and his stuff was amazing. All right, and so here's a local Cleveland horror comic that came out several years ago called The Lake Erie Monster.
Oh, there you go.
It was about a 5 to 6 issue series.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have all the issues, but I liked reading that one. So much fun.
It's just nice to see some locally made books.
Everyone likes the smell of these old comics. There's something else. You know?
Now there's more comics. Oh, you've got some more there, and then we've got this.
Well, that was just the other collection. Look how the tome. Well.
Oh, and Walking Dead.
Let's talk about Walking Dead.
So there's something more modern.
Yes,
that had a huge popularity.
It pretty much brought zombies to the forefront again. I mean, they were never gone, but they definitely did have a big
Let's see if I can
rising up.
It's
Negan.
Yeah. So that's that artwork
is that the third one? Is that
this is book 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to finish that one.
Yeah, I see there was a bookmark in it.
Yeah, I gotta pick it up. I'll leave that out.
Yeah.
What?
I'll set that one right there.
Okay. And then there's this huge Marvel horror comic. Look how heavy that is. So friggin' heavy.
That's like a 10-pound book.
Yeah, I don't want to say. Yeah, but that's a collection of a bunch of Marvel comics, horror ones, like the ones we just went over. The Mummy. Yeah, the Mummy. Flip it around. Let's see. Dracula. All kinds of stuff in that. And I have not cracked that open yet. That's been in the bag since I bought it.
Yeah.
And I bought that from Tony Isabella, the writer of the Marvel the guy who created Black Lightning and and a bunch of other superheroes in the
we met him at Akron Comic Con the same same weekend that we also met and interviewed Superhost. So that was an amazing weekend.
Yeah. So we got some other weird comics. I don't even know who put these out, but they use a lot of the Universal, monster titles, or artwork.
That one looks kind of generic.
Well,
Like,
no, that's Lon Chaney. That's the Lon
Well, I
Chaney
know
rare
it
book.
is, but the
There's-
comic itself
Yes, you're right.
has
I don't
kind
know.
of a
There's Bela Lugosi as Dracula. Yeah, it's very generic type of thing.
has like a.
They kind of took choose the mummy there, but there he is.
Ooh, that's cool. I
Supposed
like
to be
the
Carl F. one, yeah.
I like the Egyptian stuff like around it.
A bunch of other miscellaneous.
Yeah.
I mean, they can go on and on with this stuff. The Forbidden Worlds, the Nocturnals. This is Daniel Brereton. This guy's stuff is so cool.
So, when people think Comic Con, they usually think of like superheroes and capes, but the comic book world wasn't always that. I mean, a lot of it was monsters and horror themes and scary stuff.
Whew, I got so much stuff here.
So, I mean, there's so many like horror titles,
Yeah.
horror series. And then there's some that are like a little bit scary, a little bit sci-fi.
I could go on forever with these comics.
Yeah, I mean, there's so like the worlds collide there. So you
Yeah,
could be a comic book fan and a horror fan and a sci-fi fan. It's all.
Yeah, those are the few boxes I
Yeah.
could get to. So I mean, there's so much more I have in my collection that I would love to. Now I want to read them all. I was going through these books and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta sit down, with I'm like Burgess Meredith at the end of that one Twilight Zone where the world gets, everyone dies and he's left alone with all his books. But then his glasses break. Well, I got some backup, so I ain't worry about that. But yes, I would love to
that
have
would be awful.
all the time in the world to read my comics. But so horror comics. So what other points do we have about them?
I mean, that's all just kind of talking about the history of it a little bit, and then talking about the different series, and we showed a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like a favorite? Like, if you had to pick one or two?
Well,
I know you're a Walking Dead fan. You like reading those.
not as much as I like the TV show too. I mean, it was up to a point. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I heard the newer ones aren't that good. I never really got into it too much.
Well, the funny thing about that, the comics were way more graphic. I mean, the one episode people keep talking about, that was at a big uproar, was the one where Negan pretty much kills Glenn and a bunch of other people that were part of the comic crew. And in the show, it's when people were really the live action show.
Mm-hmm.
The comic was much more graphic, believe it or not.
Oh,
But you didn't hear that
well,
kind
there's
of.
probably only so much they could show on television.
Yeah, but what they did show was enough to make people flip out,
Yeah.
and they were disgusted by it. But all it was trying to do, and it wasn't even as graphic as the book. The book was way more graphic.
Mm-hmm.
It actually pulled its punch. Anyway, but yeah, if that offended you, or if that traumatized you, then don't read the book because it's way more graphic.
I've read The Walking Dead a little bit. Like when it first came out, I remember one of my friends let me borrow it, and it was like doom and gloom. Like
Yeah,
like it was like
it's probably pretty.
I even though it's like
Ouch.
even though it's good, it was like I felt like I wanted to watch a cartoon or something after, like something happy. Because it's like everybody dies.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, everybody dies in The Walking Dead.
Well, that's what's great about these covers. They show you the people on top, they're alive, and there's a dead version of them down there. I mean,
yeah.
we are, and literally, we are all The Walking Dead at some point. Anyway, that's a pleasant thought, isn't it?
Okay, let's read some comments and think of something more
happy. Welcome to the happy show.
Okay. James says Hammer horror comic books. So I guess they made comic books based on the Hammer horror films.
There's Carl.
Oh,
the kid.
okay.
Isn't that nice?
He was looking at the flowers.
Yeah, well.
We'll see in the comic book world they could get away with more.
Oh, they did so much. Oh, there you go.
Because it's just a drawing. Now, if they try to do that
see, this is
TV, they probably couldn't get away with all that.
Here's the scene. There's Glenn with his blowing out. When they did all this in the show, and people flipped out. But it was true to the comic, which is funny because with this comic in particular, people are like, "Well, you changed this, and that character's not in the book." But when they did the scene exactly
then people freaked out.
Yeah, so you can't make anyone happy. There's no, you know, what are you gonna do? You can't please everyone.
Well, hey, they had a good run. I think they're still on, but
Let's see. Well, yeah, they are. Well, the
Yeah.
final season's coming up. You asked me a question of what my favorite horror book was. But can I pick like maybe like a genre, like
sure.
or a time, like 70s Marvel horror comics
70s Marvel horror.
are fun for me. I'm sure the EC stuff's the best. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't top that. I've read some stuff, but I don't have access to the full library.
Yeah.
But they did reprints of those in big bound volumes.
There's
that were
tons
awesome.
of reprints of them, and we have some of them.
I have some yeah.
We just have to locate them.
Yeah, they're here and there.
Yeah.
But I wish I had a whole collection because they're so great.
I guess there's some that were I did write this down and I forgot to mention it. PL Publishing released kind of like a copycat of those EC comics. They had different series called like Weird Adventures, Weird Horrors, Weird Chills, Weird Mysteries, and Weird Tales of the Future. So I don't know if you guys have read any of those, or if there's any of those books that were good. But yeah, there was that going on too.
Remiss here. Someone did mention Hellboy, and I did pull a Hellboy. Just listen to the back there.
Yeah, Hellboy's cool.
And very, horror related. Definitely, a horror
Monster
comic.
Yeah.
They reprinted a bunch of stuff.
Haunted horror.
Yo Comics.
What's that one?
This is Haunted Horror. A lot of reprints of those old.
A reprint of the old
that
ones.
weren't EC, but very EC like. Because EC, obviously, once you start doing these things, everyone's
then
like
other
copycats.
companies were trying to do the same thing.
So there was a lot of that out there. Now,
show that one.
a couple years ago, we went to a what was that thing called?
What
the,
thing?
what was it called?
What thing?
Oh shoot! It was an independent comic show. It had nothing.
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan had nothing. The name always throws me because it has nothing to do. Just because Genghis Khan.
It's a one-day comic book show in Lakewood, Ohio.
But the name Genghis has nothing to do with it.
And it's all like independent horror film or independent comics, not horror.
Oh, hello, Dad. It's
Hello,
Mama
Monkey.
You're good. Leave it there.
You're okay.
Good evening.
So when we were there was some companies selling they had a pretty cool idea. They took a bunch of public domain comics, like horror comics, and they rewrote them, and they're hilarious. Okay, so it's almost like
kind of like Mystery Science Theater.
Kind of.
Where they
look out for Earl there.
It's like they turned it into like a parody, a comedy.
Yes. But it's very authentic looking. I mean, they kept all the comics the way they were, but when they rewrote them, even the word balloons don't look that off. They look like right.
Yeah, I mean, they were funny to read, and it's kind of cool to look through. Oh, that was a neat picture. I was hoping I could find some neat illustrations to show you.
Yeah,
so yeah, here's
pretty
the
stuff.
Some of the artwork from that.
Oh yeah, there you go. We have some.
It's very cool looking.
We have Pete, our friend.
Yeah,
Pete.
retro style.
Pete gave us a collection of Erie. Now there's a whole other thing. The Erie comics.
Oh,
Erie,
the creepies and Eries. I forgot to talk about those. We have some of those.
I have a magazine here. What the heck did I do? Oh, here it is.
There's that one with the zombies.
Here's one that's like that. This is
kind of cool.
I think who's this Marvel? This is a Marvel title. It's called Vampire Tales. This may have Blade in it. I don't know. I do have a Blade magazine, but these were really popular too in the 70s. Marvel was putting out a bunch of these bigger format horror magazines.
Ooh.
And this one's Vampire Tales. I have a Blade. Now, don't forget the character Blade was introduced in the Tomb of Dracula. Exact same character, pretty much. Half vampire, half human.
The vampire hunter.
He could walk, and he didn't need to be, he could be out in the sunlight, all that kind of stuff. Didn't wear a really cool leather jacket. It was more 70s looking with the, brown leather, coat with a bunch of, wooden
Everyone in the 70s had a brown leather coat.
But wooden stakes everywhere. But this has that gorgeous black and white, artwork in it.
Yeah, very detailed.
Very, very nice stuff.
Very pretty.
Black and white on yellow paper.
Yes.
But these were again with creepy, eerie. They had all the different stories and stuff in the horror.
Yeah,
stories.
all the different short stories.
We have a couple collections of that.
Oh, those are fun.
Oh my gosh. So when we do our Wasteland Week, to live out our Cinema Wasteland Convention fantasies coming up in April,
we'll also have to include reading comic books.
We'll have to pull some horror comics.
I call them comical books.
Yes. So you can imagine us in the beginning of April sitting in front of a TV with God knows what playing and surrounded by comic books and all kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Love that kind of.
So let's check the comments, and then we should probably wrap this up in a few.
The big Conan comics, same thing, the same. Daywalker. See, I don't think they call him a Daywalker in the original comics. They may have. I don't think so though. But yeah, Blade had a smaller, kind of tight afro and green goggles and kind of weird thing going on there. So Bobby Harvey wants to know what your favorite horror comic is. What's your favorite horror comic, Janet? Forget about me.
I really liked Morbius a lot. And
Marvel.
Yeah, I like Marvel. And you know, the Marvel monsters, any of them I could read. I was more of a Marvel person too. Some DC comics I like. And I love the Elvira comic books. Obviously, we love horror film hosts, so I love the Elvira comics. Thank you, John. Wow.
Very sweet. Thank you, man.
Thanks for hours of entertainment. Oh, that's sweet.
We love it. I mean, yeah. We were saying a little bit ago, the Hairy Scary Weekend.
We have a friend who will sometimes, instead of saying the Hairy Scary Hangout, we'll call our show the Hairy Scary Weekend.
Which makes me think.
Which makes us think maybe we should do one of these days, I don't know when, but do a Hairy Scary Weekend where every day that weekend we stream a show.
That would be fun. Maybe it's like Halloween time.
That would be a lot to plan, but it could be a lot of fun.
You know, even if it's some other programming that we do that's related to our show, like a Cliff show. Mm-hmm. You know, who knows?
Maybe the other characters could host something.
Yeah. I mean, the Hairy Scary Weekend. Could be related. Good idea.
All right, and what was that? What's Will asking?
Will? Conan?
What's that last question?
This one here?
Is that a what? No. Will something or other. I can't read it.
Oh, is that a recommendation? Lois. I guess he's talking about Lois.
Okay. They're
talking. They talk amongst themselves.
Yeah, and Lois and her husband Tom, they're comic book pros. They really know lots of info about comics. So I was hoping they would like this topic, and I hope you guys like the topic too.
I say follow James Muscarella's idea to, when you get your stimulus check, when you get your Biden bucks, go truck yourself right over to the Mummy and the Monkey store, our Teespring store, and blow it there.
Well, of course, eat and pay your bills first.
Damn. Those kids, they can get a scholarship to go to college. But
thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Wow, this was a lot of fun.
This is so much fun.
Well, thank you for this topic, Janet. I didn't even, that you kind of like.
Well, you're the comic book nerd.
This was easy. I wish I could.
And we like looking through these books.
Lois liked the idea of a Hairy Scary Weekend, so we could maybe do something like that.
Yeah, so we'll have to plan a Hairy Scary Weekend.
Yeah, someone said that Ghost Rider had two different versions of the comic books. What Bobby Harvey's referring to is that the original Ghost Rider. Do you know anything about the original Ghost Rider comics?
I only know a little bit about Ghost Rider.
It was a Western.
I know the movie wasn't that good.
The original, no, that has nothing to do with it. Forget about Nicolas Cage, please. So the original Ghost Rider comics, Marvel published, where he was a Western.
Well, that makes sense. He rode a horse.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And Westerns were really popular in the 50s.
It wasn't that old. I think it was late 60s, early 70s. And then it turned into the bike, they turned the horse into
Then they turned him into a biker.
Yeah, biker. Yeah. But it was a Western, yeah.
That's cool. Some of those old Westerns are neat.
Connie Cleary, thank you for making it clear. Hit the like button. Subscribe to our page.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel.
And share the link, please.
Yes, thank you guys so much. I'm getting tired, so I think we're going to go for now.
And Albert has 2 farts to give, so there you go.
Oh, okay. Well,
but thank you all who gave us a super chat tonight, and thank you all for tuned in. Thanks to Bargain Barons for the yummy treats which we'll be consuming over the weekend.
Thank you, Bargain Barons. We'll finally get to try
the ketchup chips.
Ketchup flavored chips. Ooh.
I watch The Haunted Barn tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. So, thank you all again for watching the Hairy Scary Hangover, our 50th episode.
Our 50th live streaming Hairy Scary Hangover. So, thank you guys. Good night. Good fright.
That's right. Mwah. We'll see you next time, gangaroo.
See ya. Okay.